The Lost Planet series since birth has always been known for these things: fast-paced, huge enemy-oriented, and a true challenge. We have now made it to Lost Planet 3, a game in which took a shocking turn in development when Capcom garnered sole development to Spark Unlimited Studios, a development team that you wouldn't exactly want to control of an anticipated game, especially after their last, which was the horrible game known as Legendary. But time moves and things change, and this Lost Planet is looking to plant an entrance with a change in pace and tries to implement a deeper story. Now let's see if Lost Planet 3 is a true win or a lost cause.
I just got done with the finishing touches. What finishing touches?
Chronologically speaking, Lost Planet 3 takes place long before Lost Planet Extreme Condition, as you follow the story of Jim Payton, a colonist whose job is to help mine and survive on an ice planet known as EDN-3 to bring newly discovered material and minerals back to Earth. What sets Lost Planet 3 from the first two is the way that it tries to involve a dramatic story, which is nice, but it takes a while to actually gain interest. You learn of Jim's family and his struggle knowing that he's billions of miles away from them. Aside from that, most of the story loses a bit of sense while being pulled into missions, as if they were trying to sometimes randomly put missions in just to carry the story on. The overall structure of the story holds and is nicely crafted besides some setbacks.
Attention, unlocking suspension lines and raising comm dish.
The presentation in Lost Planet 3 is somewhat distinctive. Vast environment and glow of ice looks good, but sometimes it seems stale and a bit unfinished. I do love the bluish effect that they've added to the environment to make it stand out, but the character models are not so impressive. The monster visuals look of nice design though, and very similar to the last two, as you have to use the same tactics as the last two to defeat them, but we'll get into that later. The audio is good, especially the way that the shotgun sounds, exactly like Gears of War Nashor's. Voice acting and dialogue is pretty good, but nothing special. Sounds of guns are nice and pay tribute to the look of the gun, make it actually sound like what that gun would sound like. The gameplay of Lost Planet 3 is what's most concerning about the game. A lot has changed. For one, the pace feels much slower than before. Fast pace is what made Lost Planet interesting, and although not snail slow, it is slower now. The camera has been moved to a closer third person view for a more cinematic look. The degree of difficulty has been lowered as well. It seems as though Lost Planet 3 lowered their standards a bit to let more casual players in, which is something that I don't quite cope with in this game. I know this has been said multiple times, but it feels like they're almost trying to mimic Dead Space 3 in a lot of areas. Gun use is quite nice though. I do feel like a badass shooting down monsters, which brings me to my next point, the monsters. I really like the bosses and varieties of creatures on this planet, but a lot of times it feels repetitive. They give you plenty of enemies, but it's always the same way to kill them, which is aim for the weak spot that's been around since the very first Lost Planet. What were called mechs in the last two are now replaced with rigs in the prologue. A giant mech used a mine, which serves a great purpose in areas of the story because you can always use combat with it too. Overall in the gameplay, it seems that they have taken away what made Lost Planet so definitive and added some unneeded mechanics.
Need to take the trash out every once in a while? That was terrible.
To sum up Lost Planet 3, I have to say that it's not the best in the series, but at the same time, it's definitely not a horrid game. Going Western changing development teams did take an effect on this game to a degree. Some changes were nice, but others kind of tore down the structure of what Lost Planet is. The story, however, is pretty good to dawn on, and this actually makes the main character interesting. Overall, Lost Planet 3 is Spark Unlimited's best game, but it's not the best in the series. I give Lost Planet 3 a 7.2 out of 10. There will be a separate review on the multiplayer coming up soon, so subscribe now. This is iDCL, and I'm out. Peace. Like this video? Well, subscribe to my channel for more gameplay and video game reviews to come.